Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And wow, I am, I don't know that it seems like my excitement builds day after day because the guest, it's unbelievable. The folks in this community, you just never cease to amaze me with your energy, your drive, it's just so nice to know that I'm not the only wild and crazy one out here in the world that wants to build a business online and that has these entrepreneurial dreams. And this morning, our guest is no different. She's a retired nurse building a digital marketing business by fostering genuine connection. She is also a stay-at-home mom coming all the way to us from upstate New York. Candace, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you, Dave?
Couldn't be better. So excited for our mastermind this weekend. Of course, love to be talking to you this morning before I go live from the mastermind tomorrow morning. So this is just a beautiful way to kind of transition in. I can already tell that you're a go-getter. This is going to be very exciting to learn from you and get inspired by you here this morning. So was all of that correct? Nurse,
Yep.
or retired nurse, correct?
Yep.
Current stay-at-home mom, which is, we know you took on a harder job there, as if nursing was already hard enough. You took on being a stay-at-home mom, wife, upstate New York, by chance, probably part of the Buffalo Bills mafia. Is that right?
Yeah. We're Buffalo Bills fans.
Yeah, tough year this year. I know. I've got a lot of Buffalo Bill in my family's mother side is from New York, so I went up to visit my aunt every summer, and we would go to Fredonia and watch the Buffalo Bills training camp. Now, this was back during the 4 Super Bowl lost Jim Kelly era, so I really know what it's. Plus, I'm a Tampa Bay Bucks guy, so I really know what it's like to lose.
Cool.
People, I do nothing to win, but it's not true. So, okay, we've got some things established here. Tell us what led you to legendary. What were you looking for? Do you feel like you found it?
Dave, I wasn't looking for it at all. It just stumbled upon me. And I'm so glad I just went for it. So I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 3 years. And in the last year or so, things got like financially tough, living off just my husband's income. He owns a business, and we were putting a lot of the money back into the business to help grow it. And after, going into my 3rd year of being a stay-at-home,
you're not even 30 seconds in. Nugget alert. Holy they're reinvesting money back into the business. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're good. So then like the third, and I'm constantly watching my husband's success, and he has like inspired me. And so the last year, I'm a stay-at-home mom, or not, going into my 3rd year of being a stay-at-home mom. I don't want to say I got like depressed, but I was kind of just like, okay, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but like, what else is there? What am I doing? And then I just, was scrolling social media one day and stumbled upon a mom talking about all the success she has and having an online business and how she can do it from home. And at first, I know this mom, and I was like, okay, well, is it a scam? I know she was into a lot of MLMs before, and she tried to get me into them before, and it was never the right timing. And it was, after a month or so of watching her, I finally dove in and purchased the 15-day challenge, started it, and haven't looked back.
Wow. Well, it appears you didn't just purchase the 15-day challenge. It appears you enrolled into the blueprints. I mean, you're obviously launched your business. You have an audience of 75,000 just on Instagram. So, I mean, you didn't just take the challenge. You took the bull by the horns and went all out. That's what it appears.
Yep.
Does that feel like?
And there was no hesitation. There was no hesitation.
And so talk to us about going through the process of coming into the challenge. You put down $7. You're like, okay, I'm going to see if this is a scam. I'm going to check this out. I'm going to do my due diligence, and oh, wow. Okay, there's other opportunities to learn in a more advanced, more serious way. Oh, okay, now it's time to put the rubber to the road. Walk us through those different milestones and talk to us about the feelings and the thoughts that came up as you were making those decisions and approaching those new doorways.
Yeah. So when I first, within the first day of the challenge, I knew that it, obviously wasn't a scam. And I was just nothing but excited, but also I had fears because, I'm not tech savvy. I'm a very introverted person. So I had those types of fears. I didn't know how to create a reel, didn't know anything about social media or how to gain a following. So I had all those types of fears and doubts and whatnot. But I just knew that I was going to invest in the blueprints and I was not going to look back, and I wasn't going to stop until I saw the results that I wanted to see. And yeah, just been doing that the whole time and been seeing success. So yeah.
Yeah. So lo and behold, you didn't know how to do any of that stuff. And that was exactly what we teach here. That's exactly what
Exactly.
it's about, right? So
Exactly.
it's interesting that, you say, hey, I had concerns and fears about, technical setup. Let's just take that for an example. Did you realize that, God, you were able to get things set up, watching videos, watching step-by-step training, even maybe attending some of the coaching or workshops that we put on? Did you realize that you can do this and still not have to be technically savvy? Because
Oh yeah.
I've got a big bomb that I want to drop for everybody here.
Yeah.
Ready? I'm about to confess something. I'm still not technically savvy, or don't consider myself a technical wizard. Did you come to
Exactly.
that realization as well?
Oh yeah. Well, I hate getting a new phone because I don't want to have to learn how to use a new phone. I don't want to have to learn that. But when I was taking the blueprints, I tell everyone, I'm like, I watch it step by step. I watch a little bit, go and implement, go back, watch a little bit more, go and implement, and just do that. And it literally it's a no-brainer. It walks you through it step by step.
Here's the thing, friends, is that, this isn't a computer science course. This is not a coding course. We are not going to be asking you to take apart your iPhone and do heart surgery on it. I mean, I still panic too if it's like, oh my God, is that a crack in my screen? What am I going to do?
Exactly.
I'm right there with you. I bought a new iPhone. Now you can see this one's got some wear and tear. It's not a new iPhone. I bought this case at the same time that I bought the phone. This is like what are we on now? 14, 15. This is like a 12. I've got a new iPhone that I bought a little while back and never set it up because I'm just fine with this one. I kind of feel like I'm sort of that almost, I've got a lot of boomer relatives, so I always like to tease them as if they're not technically savvy. But the truth is there's a little bit pointing back at me. Now, I'm not a flip phoner, friends. I'm not a flip phoner, but that's because I do actually use the camera on my phone. So what was that like for you you went through the training? Yes, you realized you didn't need to be technically savvy to do this, but you do need to have the ability to overcome your own limiting beliefs and fear and press post and get going. What was that like for you to begin to film videos and put yourself out there?
Oh, David, it was not good. I don't come out and share this on social media, but my first launch at this was in August, and it was horrible. I did every single thing wrong from the very beginning. I guess I bought followers, but I didn't know that I bought followers. I was searching, how to gain an Instagram following. And, these websites popped up that, we help gain organic followers. So I'm like, oh, perfect. That's what I need. Organic followers. Clicked it, bought it. I didn't realize that I was buying followers. So that's what I did to my first Instagram account. And I went in, I'm like, okay, no one's watching my content. Like, okay, so I followed every single person that I actually personally know, family, friends. I'm like, if I follow them, they'll follow me back, and that'll be the start of it. Yeah, no. So the whole first 3 weeks to a month in, was completely shot because I wasted that whole Instagram account. So I ended up having to start a new account in September. You learn a lot along the way. You don't know until you know.
Yeah, and there is a
So
part of watching a video, a training, and then the kind of I don't actually know this until I do it. A lot of times I think that we think, oh, I'm going to
yeah,
watch this and now I'm going to know what to do. But there's a second part, a more important part, which is actually applying what you've just learned. And that's
yeah,
actually where the real lessons come in. It's sort of like,
yeah,
okay, the coach is going to tell me how to hold the baseball bat, right? Let's just pretend I've never hit a baseball before. The coach is going to say, which I'm doing with my 3-year-old son right now, son, if you want to hit the ball that way, you need to stand on this side of the ball, right? Because he doesn't
yeah.
understand. He's ready to hit the ball that way over on that side of the tee. But so I'm like, son, come over here and stand right here, and you're gonna put the bat up on this shoulder, put your hands like this,
Mm-hmm.
left hand down below, and big hit, right? Big hit. I mean, he has no idea. But where the
Yeah,
real learning, and can see it clicking, is when he actually hits and makes contact. That's when the real muscle memory, the learning happens. And you're finding that to be true as well. Now, you've made a lot of mistakes, but you've also had a lot of success. 75,000 followers on Instagram is nothing to shake a stick at. It's nothing to sneeze at. And so, what have you learned through this process? Bring us back to also your timeline of when you started, so we could kind of understand a little bit about the timing of the journey.
So I started the challenge, I think it was like the very first part of July. And then jumped into the blueprints shortly after that. And then I attempted my first launch with my social media in August, but I hadn't quite finished, the whole blueprints and whatnot. So jumped at that into August, and then September 8th ish, I started the new Instagram, started over, started it the right way. Yeah.
Okay. So what did you start doing? We've titled this, "You're building your following through genuine connections." What does that
Yeah.
mean? Can you help somebody new understand what you changed, what you started doing, and how do you build genuine connections with strangers on the internet and get them warmed up and wanting to follow, learn, and ultimately take your recommendations and buy stuff from you?
Yeah. So I guess I also didn't realize how much I was actually going to love the part of teaching people and getting to know complete strangers, getting to know their stories.
Mm.
So, in DMs, when people would ask for more information, I was asking for more information from them, getting to know them more, getting to know their stories, building relationships through DMs specifically. I'd hop on, Zoom calls with people. Um,
Wow.
I just realized that, people buy from people that they know, love, and trust, kind of thing. So,
I've heard that before somewhere. I don't know
yeah,
about 50.
right?
You mean that's true and it still applies?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And you can do that, hold on a second, digitally on the internet without being face
Yeah.
to face somebody? You mean you in upstate New York and somebody down in Miami,
Mm-hmm.
Florida?
Yep. Yep.
It's wild. And so when you say chatting in DM, I mean, is this you just texting with somebody as if you were chatting or texting with a friend or somebody that you
Yeah,
were just getting to
exactly.
know.
I genuinely do want to know their story. Like I built a ton of like really close relationships with complete strangers, whether that be people who are interested in the course or just other affiliates in general. That's like the part that I've really grown to love is getting to know people and networking.
So Michael just commented, by the way, on tons of amazing comments coming in for you, and thank you everybody for all your warm support as always. Joe said, I don't know if you saw this, knocking me between the eyes. Need this. Zafra says, appreciate you for being open and honest, Candace. Experiential learning is huge. Marla says, talking to Mandy, needed this, love the transparency. So love your honesty. Gail says, OMG, Candace, this is my story, LOL. So, thank you so much, you for being so honest and transparent. And thank you everybody for your warm comments. So Michael said, people buy people. Do you agree with that? And what does that mean to you, Candace?
You kind of cut out. Did you say people buy from people?
Yeah, Michael, you can see the comment here on the screen. I shared
Okay,
his
yeah.
comment. He said
Yes.
people by people. So is that what you're talking about? And what comes up for you when you hear Michael say people by people? Are you talking about the same thing? Are they buying you and the trust in you versus the
Yeah.
product? Do you sell you first before the product sells? I mean, even if the product is
Yeah.
great, but they don't trust you, is there a good chance they're not going to buy? Like, what resonates with you about his statement, people by people?
I mean, I definitely learned that from my husband in business is the number one thing you have to do is get them to know you, build a friendship, build a relationship first, and then you sell.
Mm, mm.
You have to
What
build a
kind of
relationship. You have to
business
gain their trust.
what kind of business is your husband in?
He's a service business, so he does power washing actually, a lot of commercial and residential. Yeah, power
So you're
washing.
saying that this is a lot like that, and there's a lot of similarities in terms of the relationship building, the
Yeah,
trust. Somebody might even go with him, even though his service might be more expensive if they like
exactly.
it.
100%. 100%. We're always, always, always the highest price estimate that people get,
Wow.
and we're the number one in the area because my husband has a good way of building a natural relationship with people. He treats everyone like, you know, their best friends when they just meet.
So you hear that, everybody? 474 people hanging on every word that you're saying right now. And I hope that that one is just that, because people are not that worried about price. They're not as
Yep.
worried about price as you think they are. Sure, we see the comments. The people who are the loudest are usually the ones who have the most problems, who have the least amount of money. And we've all seen that meme. The person buying the $5 thing has a million questions. The person buying the $50 thing says, where should I send the wire? Right? So
Yeah.
that is a very common thing amongst business owners. We know that the customers who complain the most are usually the ones who've spent the least amount of money. That's just a thing.
Exactly. Oh
That's a
yeah.
thing, right?
Yep.
But also that people are not that hung up on price. If the value's there, if the trust is there,
Exactly.
it's a pleasure for them to write that check, is what you're saying.
100%.
Yeah. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that, because I mean, that is a limiting belief that so many of us have, right? I'm going to say the price, or they're going to see the price and that's going to be but actually your energy and fear about presenting the price is creating skepticism and is hurting
Yeah.
the bond that you guys are having, instead of knowing that if you deliver enough value and
Mm-hmm.
if they trust you enough, price is not the number one concern. Are we on
Exactly.
the same page with that?
Yeah.
So what does value mean to you? We hear that a lot. How do you, I'm sure you heard that at the beginning too, and it was like, what is value? Like, how do I deliver value? What are you finding in terms of content creation that is valuable to people, that gets them to want to reach out?
I mean, giving away all the knowledge and information that you have, giving it away for free, not hiding anything, just giving
Mm.
it away.
So not gatekeeping,
Yeah,
not. So
exactly.
I think that we think when we come into any business, especially an information business, which is what we're doing here, we're selling
Hmm.
information. The core four business models, for anybody who's new here, are the four main ways to sell information online: courses, coaching, events, or do affiliate marketing for somebody else's.
Yep.
And what I think a lot of us think is we're hesitant to give away those big nuggets, those big things that we know, because we're like, well, maybe I should charge for those. But what
Yeah.
you're saying is give it all away for free
Yeah.
and blow them away. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Because
Sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm here to listen to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm even with other affiliates, Dave. I had someone that, so I noticed that there was an affiliate who was brand new, um, and I had taken kind of an Instagram growth course to help grow my social media following, learn more things about Instagram and creating content. So I reached out to this affiliate that was brand new, and I'm like, oh, I could give them some pointers. Didn't know this person. I just DM'd him and I'm like, hey, if you're interested, I have some, pointers that I could give you. I see you're new, blah, blah, blah. And he responded back, sure. So I gave him all these tips and pointers on creating better content and whatnot. And then he responds back, he goes, I'm not going to lie. I thought you were a scam. I thought you were trying to get money from me. I thought if I had said yes, that you were going to charge me for your information. I'm like, no, I just thought that, I saw that you could use some pointers and whatnot. So just wanted to help you out and, you know, see you grow and whatnot. So yeah, giving away free knowledge.
So that's powerful. Ross makes also ask a powerful question. I love this, everybody. I love this. Let's dig right into what really matters, and let's turn over. Let's leave no stone unturned. So Ross says, if you're giving it all away, what's left to sell? And I want to take that one first. And here's what's left to sell. If you, first of all, on your social media page, you're giving samples. So you're not giving everything A to Z, because that's not what social media is for. And honestly, people are not ready for that. That would be overwhelming to them
Yeah.
if they just came to your social media Instagram page in the middle of a scroll, in the middle of being in a scroll hole. As Gwen says, I call it scroliosis.
Yeah.
Choose your poison. But people are looking to. It's like going to the. It's like them walking through the mall, and then you go through the food court. You don't have time right now to sit down for a whole meal. But I don't know about you, but when them boys come with that bourbon chicken on a toothpick, boy,
Yeah.
I'm getting me one. I'm getting
Exactly.
me one. I'm getting me
Yep.
two. Hey, I'm hitting that. I'm hitting that piece. Boo, and then I'm circling back around. I'm saying, hey, let me get another one of those bad boys, because
Yep.
I just want to sample right now. And guess
Yeah.
what? The seed is planted. Next time I come to the mall, it might
Yeah.
even stop me dead in my tracks if it hits the right hole in my belly. But
Yeah.
I do know that next time I come to that mall, I'm going to say, I need to carve out 15 or 20 minutes to get a plate of that bourbon chicken,
Right.
because that stuff is just on fire, right? Stephanie says, come on with the bourbon chicken. Come on with it. So this is what people are doing out on the internet. They are saying, ooh, that's a tasty little morsel there, Candace. That really,
Hmm.
that really teases and electrifies the heart and the mind, gets me thinking, gets me dreaming a little bit, gets me interested. Okay. It's the sample, it's the
Yeah,
appetite. Okay, you know what? Screw it. Let's go now. Or I'm going to have a couple more samples over the course of the next couple of hours or couple of days. And just like you said, you were sampling the woman that you were following. You were sampling, taking nice little samples here and there. And then
yep,
finally you were like, all right, it's time to sit down for the T-bone steak. Does this
exactly.
analogy resonate?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that, my friend, thank you for the question. Let's leave no stone unturned. If the sample was good, here's what they say to themselves. If the free sample is this good, I can't imagine what's in the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine if this is what they're giving away for free, I can't even imagine what in the hell's behind that paywall, right?
Yeah,
And what they're buying when they buy a course is they're buying all of the information that's scattered all over the internet
exactly.
in an
All condensed into
organized
one.
way that they can follow step by step, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So talk to us about, if you look back over the past 5, 6 months, what are the biggest limiting beliefs that you've needed to overcome in order to make this work?
Um, Pretty much. I mean, oftentimes I used to give up when anything got hard.
Mm,
Um, and I've realized that, I can overcome adversity and keep pushing forward. Um, yeah, and just, I didn't think that I would ever be able to captivate a true audience. Um, I never thought that people would be interested in the content that I was creating. So I
mm.
think, yeah, just overcoming those limiting beliefs that I would be able to actually get past those hard points. I mean, even now, there's still times when it's hard, and just keep pushing forward, knowing that you're going to have success.
And besides money coming in and those tangible results, are you also building confidence? Are you noticing that? Yeah, talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely just knowing that I'm building an actual, business online. Um, Being able to, I don't know, definitely just, trying to think of exactly. I mean, even with my kids, like just showing that I'm setting an example of building something online, creating something that's mine, working hard. Um, yeah,
I mean, you had mentioned identity back at the beginning of the show where you were
yeah,
feeling like you were losing a
I
bit of
didn't
your own
have
personal
anything.
identity, because it was the dream to be stay-at-home mom. But then once you've sort of been hanging out on that mountain, and that is a climb to get there, you worked your whole life, you and your husband. What's his name, by the way?
Luke.
You and Luke. Luke. Shout out to Luke. Okay. Shout out to big Luke. I like his name. I like that name. He sounds like a solid dude. So
Yeah, you would love
you and Luke have been building this life, and it's a climb to get to the top of that mountain to where you're like, okay, I'm a stay-at-home mom. That's an accomplishment,
them.
But
Yeah.
then once you've hung out on that mountain for a while, it's kind of like, who am I?
Yeah.
Like, am I a stay-at-home mom? Am I, and I mean, gosh, I've heard this from so many moms and dads who are like, yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not a new concept. It's like you do something for a while and it's kind of like, is there anything else out there for me? Right. So has this helped that identity? It's not an identity
Yeah.
crisis, but I mean, it kind of is for all of us when we're like in a job forever or we're doing something. It's kind of like, oh my God, who am I? Like, is this what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? Like, has it
Yeah.
helped that? Not solved it totally, but do you feel like you're building something new and adding to your identity?
100%. When I first, like you said, when I was first a stay-at-home mom, I was all excited. I loved it. And we had a lot of flexibility in our finances. So I was doing things around the house. I felt like I was accomplishing a lot. But then, yeah, I just kind of was at the point where, okay, well, now who am I? Like, I'm done doing stuff around the house. What are my accomplishments, that are going to be, ongoing? So,
And there's like a little bit of parent guilt too. Like, I think for those of us who are like hanging out with our kids a lot, and it's like, am I allowed to want something more? Is this okay? Like, did you
yeah,
deal with any of that at all? And how are you
yeah, for
navigating
sure.
that to do? I mean, this is both, something that you're doing financially for your future, all this, but it's also about you and what you want too. Like, just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we're parents of kids and all that doesn't mean that we shouldn't still be able to live our lives. So how have you navigated that self-talk? Do you and Luke talk about it? Have you just come to the realization that, hey, I got to live life for me too here? Like, what's come up around that? The parent
I mean,
guilt.
my husband definitely set a good example because he had to make a lot of sacrifices to get the business where it's at, as far as, you know, missing dinners, um, missing, major milestones here and there. I mean, luckily, I don't have to do that. But over the summer is when I actually started the challenge, and my kids were home for the summer, so I did have to make some sacrifices. Um, and still now, I mean, yeah, it's
You're
hard, but you know that, like, you have to have something for yourself too.
So you've been a supportive spouse to an entrepreneur,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Talk
yeah.
to us about what that experience has been like, and what has helped you to support your entrepreneurial spouse, and how do you also solicit his support for your entrepreneurial ventures now?
So
Like,
yeah,
how did
when
you
my
let's start with your experience. Like, how did you not get bitter when he came home late or when he did miss those milestones? Like, what perspective maybe did you first have, or did you have to get? Maybe this can help some of our friends' spouses. We need to understand what our spouses are going through as well when we're on the computer, on the phone, or we need more time. Like, how did you navigate that as a spouse supporting his entrepreneurial dreams when you had to carry more of the load? Like, how did you look at that in a way that didn't break your marriage?
Yeah, so it was hard in the beginning, Dave. I was mad. I was not happy. It took time because I came from a family who my dad is very, he doesn't make, what's the word? He plays life very safe, and my husband is the complete opposite. So when my husband, was out late working on the business, missing dinners, yeah, I was not happy. Um, and it took time, but then, he had made me realize that there's an end goal. There's sacrifices that need to be made, to have success. Um, and that's pretty much what I do now. Like, I just have to accept that you're gonna have to make sacrifices.
Did you realize that some of your resentment or frustration at first was coming from maybe some beliefs that you were hanging on to from your dad or from parents or from family that maybe wasn't fully the way you wanted to live and have your
Yeah.
beliefs or your world? Did you have that awareness and like, ooh, this isn't really mine? Like, I'm going to give this back to dad and I love him and it's all good, but this is how I want to live my life. And I do want to make these sacrifices so my husband and I can navigate this together. Like, that had to be kind of a moment for you, right? To realize, ooh, is this
Yeah.
kind of like the insurance commercial where they're learning not to be their parents? It's so funny. I forget which company it is, but I love them because they're so funny and true. Did you go through that a little bit as well?
Yes, for sure. My dad is one of those people who only sees the things that are in his way of getting the results that he wants, where my husband only sees the result. He only sees the end goal. He doesn't see the things that are in his way. So he's definitely changed my mindset as far as not looking at those obstacles in front of you, but staying focused on what the end goal is and just having to accept that you're going to have to overcome these times of adversity and sacrifices.
So how are you now? The roles are reversed in a way. I mean, he's still an entrepreneur, he's still a business owner, but now you are too. And
Yeah.
so, how are you now soliciting and gaining his support for the extra time that you're now taking on
Yeah.
your business that isn't producing tons of fruit yet, right?
Yeah.
There's also,
Mhm.
how are you getting that support from him?
Luckily, I mean, he's always been supportive from the very beginning. There was no doubt in his mind. Like he didn't understand what affiliate marketing was and what exactly I was getting into, but he trusted me and just, always gave me 100% support and still does now. I mean, there's times where he's like wants more attention if I'm into the phone more and trying to create content, but he's also very forgiving and accepting that that's just, again, a little bit of sacrifice.
He's just like every other man out there, right? Is just wants a
Yeah.
little bit more of his honey's attention. We
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
we can never get enough. It's
Yep.
it's just a man thing, you know.
Yep.
Uh, so good for you all. How many kids do you have, and what does a day in your life look like in terms of managing your time and finding the pockets to be able to create content? Like, how do you approach a day, and how do you find the time to work?
So we have two kids, 9 and 7. I mean, I get up with them in the morning. We take a slow morning. Um, Usually I'll get up early and get my first post ready and whatnot. Um, get the kids ready, let them do their thing, either take them to school or get them on the bus. Um, and then I have all day to create content, batch content. Sometimes I'll batch a bunch of videos and have them ready for the next couple of days, especially if I know we have stuff going on. Um, but yeah, and then I mean, when they get home from school, they have my full attention. Um, it's pretty nice because they're in school, so it's flexible. But
Yeah.
even if we're home all day, like this summer, I'm going to be doing it. You just gotta dedicate certain times throughout the day where you're batching content and getting things ready, and then put your phone away and give them your full attention.
Yeah. And that is really helpful for both your create. I've experienced this obviously over the past 13, 14 years of, I mean, we can get addicted to our phones very
Mhm.
easily doing this too. I mean, we all know that we can go into a scroll hole just looking at dumb stuff that is consuming us,
Mhm.
and because we're consuming content. But I mean, when you start making progress, you're posting videos, you're like, what is this? I mean, there is a real pull to want to be all up on that phone all damn day, especially if it's new, you're excited. So, what
Yeah.
sort of boundaries do you set around for yourself? Is there any, or do you just kind of take it? Do you white knuckle it like some of us have to? It's like, oh, I'm not gonna look. I mean, do you put your phone over there? Do you have a separate work phone? Like, how do you navigate boundaries? So, I mean, you did mention that sometimes Luke gets a little. He's like, hey, hun, time to set the
Yeah.
phone down and give me some
Yeah.
attention. You
Yeah.
mentioned that, but like, how do you do it when you're with your kids? Like you said, you not working. Like, How are you not checking your phone? Like, how are you setting those back? Is it a mental thing for you? Do you have physical boundaries? Do you lock the phone in a cookie jar? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I literally just put the phone away. Um, Especially when they're home from school, we give them the time, spend time with them. But then, like, when they get into doing something, I'll check my phone here and there. Car rides, when they're at their sports, I'll get some phone time in.
Yeah,
But majority of my time is, I'm lucky that I get on the phone when they're in school and do my content when they're in school and whatnot. But yeah, you gotta set aside the time to give
yeah,
them attention and get fill their cups.
totally, totally. And it does also fill our cups. That's what I found is that I
Yeah,
need to set the phone down. I need to take a break. I need to get out of the house, go on a golf cart ride. That's one of my things. Go on a bike ride, go on a walk, go outside with the kids. I mean, even if you don't have kids, get out, go for a damn walk. And
yeah,
maybe you're listening to something and you have your phone in your pocket, or just leave your phone at home and actually listen to nature. It's quite an
yeah,
interesting thing, to because we're so addicted to our phones. And again, for some of us, we're turning an unhealthy addiction into a positive addiction. I mean, we're all pretty much attached to our phones anyways. I've always said, why not make money from the damn thing if you're going to be staring at it anyways? That's kind of the
yeah,
way that I look at it. But it does help us to cut. I mean, some of my favorite time is just thinking time when I'm not looking at the phone, when I've stepped back.
hmm,
It helps me to lower anxiety. It helps me to get out of comparisonitis. It helps me to just get new ideas when I'm not staring at the phone. So many of us, we stare at that damn phone so much. And one of the
hmm,
best things that we can do is, just hit frickin' post and put it down for an hour or two.
yeah,
Don't micromanage every little thing. It's working for you. That's part of the beauty of doing online marketing is it will work for you even if you're not standing over it looking at it.
exactly. Yep.
A video, I mean, that is the leverage is I can write an email to my list, hit send, and that baby's getting sent and read while I go do something else. I can post a video and I am talking to people even though I've set the phone down and I'm hanging out with my kids. And I think sometimes it's hard for us to embrace that leverage. We're like, this business is hard. It's like, well, embrace the leverage a little bit
Yeah,
more.
yeah,
It just because you're watching paint dry doesn't mean that it dries faster. If you stand there and stare at it,
hmm,
so putting it down and embracing and enjoying some of those moments where we get a little bit of fresh air can be so healthy and great
yeah.
self-care. What have you learned about yourself since starting this?
Um, Definitely. I mean, that I have a creative side to really captivate an audience. That I have the ability to grow a successful online business. Um, that I can multitask for sure. Um, yeah, that
One
I'm able to be successful.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned about you just today and hearing your story that you can reinvent yourself,
Yeah, for
which
sure.
is,
Yeah,
like that's huge to know that.
yeah,
Like, damn, I can reinvent myself if I need to. Like, because I think so many of us get in this catastrophic thinking of, what if I lose my job? What if I quit my job? What if I lose this relationship? What if something happens to this person? What if something happens to this or that person, place, or thing? Who will I be? Life will be over as I know it. And yeah,
yeah,
maybe it will. And you can reinvent yourself. At a certain
exactly.
point, we all have to. Even
Yeah.
if you're like, for example, in a relationship and your marriage lasts 60 years, one of you is going to go first,
No. Yeah.
right? And
No.
and and here's the powerful thing is that tens of hundreds of millions of maybe I don't know, billions, I don't of people have dealt with that before you, before
Yeah.
me, and so many people have transitioned careers, so many people have started online businesses, so many people have started new jobs, people have started new relationships. The point is that wow, when you realize that you can reinvent yourself, that really is an empowering feeling and fact to know because now it's like no matter what, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want to lose anything. I mean, these people mean the most to me. These things mean so much to me, my home, etc. I mean, so many of us, I can remember growing up, and the most important thing to many of my family members and even older friends was that their home. Just can't lose the home. Got to do whatever. And man, it's like I've seen so many people and also been in the situation myself to where I've had to move or relocate or lost a place that I lived because I had to move on or whatever it was.
Hmm.
Something new and better came along.
Yeah.
And it was like I started to actually believe, okay, I'm gonna have shelter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a warm bed. I'm gonna have a comfortable place to lay my head. I'm gonna be okay. And so and I've learned so much else from you. Thank you for your service as a nurse. That's a wonderful career, and I wish that all of our nurses were paid more and appreciated more and given more time off. And I completely understand anyone in that field who wants to make that transition. Teachers as well. We've got so many nurses and teachers and people in that business who are seeking something different now. And in the way of the pandemic, as that came in and wrecked a lot of lives, and
Good.
we're sensitive to that, it also woke a lot of people up and forced them to search for alternative ways to earn a living. And
Oh
many
yeah.
of them, flocked right into the internet, flocked right into our community, and
Yep.
have really discovered that they can too reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
So, well, my dear friend, shout out to you and Luke. Big Luke, that's that man right there. I'm so glad that I look forward to hearing more stories about you and learning more about your journey with your wonderful husband, your great two kids, 7 and 9. You're really I know that they're so proud of you for what you've done here. Your kids will look back and say, "Wow, she's a real warrior."
Yeah.
I mean, she really took a big leap of faith, did something really big and cool and important back when we were 7 and 9. And,
Hmm.
so I look forward for you for those times to be able to share, not just because right now they're just watching, they're just seeing, they don't really understand,
Hmm. Yeah.
you know, but what a cool thing to be able to talk to them about one day and share both you and Luke's entrepreneurial journeys with them. That'll be real valuable to them.
So
So, well, good for you guys. Stay legendary, my friend. I'm going to get out of here and get ready, head up to Orlando for the mastermind.
yeah, have
Uh,
fun this weekend.
Thank you so much. It's always an exciting thing. I go in with an open heart and an open mind, and we do a lot of this right here, just talking, answering, asking questions, panels, speakers. It's a great thing. So if any of you are ever wanting to come to a mastermind, you can go to legendarymarketer.com/enroll and get more information about that. For now, I'll let you go. I'll share your handle one more time so people can find you. You stay legendary, my friend, and thanks for
Yeah.
amazing time this morning.
Thanks, Dave.
All right.
Have a
See
good
you
one.
later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, my friends. As I said, you can get more information on our 15-day challenge, blueprints, our mastermind at legendarymarketer.com/enroll. But the lady of the hour here, Candace, is over on TikTok and Instagram at affiliate Candace. No underscores, no periods, just at affiliate Candace. Candace is spelled CANDACE, affiliate Candace over on TikTok and Instagram. And wow, what a powerful conversation this morning. The time flies by every time for me because I am so inspired. I can see that all of you are as well. Hopefully, Candace gets a chance to go back and read some of these amazing comments. So much support and appreciation for her. And I love that about you all. You all are just the most amazing, supportive community and friends here. And this makes what we do so fun, right? And because we're doing this together, we don't have to do it alone, right? Doesn't mean that we're going to come and hold hands and, run through a field of flowers, sing kumbaya. But, golly, it helps so much to know that you're not the only one, and to know where you can go to get your questions answered, or some support, find some other people who are on the same journey. And it's not just some, it's a lot. And so, my friends, I'm going to leave you with that. We will be live tomorrow at our mastermind in Orlando, Florida. We're going to be coming to you in a live room with a live audience, just like I do every Friday whenever we have a mastermind. So look forward to that. Make sure that if you don't want to miss that or any other show, you can text WUL, the words, right where you would normally put, hey, Candace, how you doing? You put WUL. Abbreviations for Wake Up Legendary. Put WUL in the little text bar, and then text that, send that to 813-296-8553. Again, the number is 813-296-8553. It's on your screen right now, and we'll give you a little gentle nudge with a little link every time we go live. You can click right over here onto Facebook. Remember, you can hear these replays on all the major podcast platforms. Just type in Wake Up Legendary and it'll come up. We get them up same day for your convenience. My friends, get out of here. Be legendary. Have an amazing day. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Peace.